Hello and welcome to a Hell Let Loose tutorial. If you're new to this game, which I assume you are if you're looking at this video, there's going to be quite a lot of stuff to learn, quite a lot of stuff to go over. I'm going to try to go over some stuff quick for you just so you can hopefully get in the game and at least have a better understanding of what's going on. So we're on the main menu here. You got Enlist as your servers. Barracks is just a place you can go to change loadouts of every class, however you want to do it. You can change your appearance as well. When you're looking at your loadouts, whatever you have unlocked, you can click on whatever loadout you want. You unlock these by leveling up that class, and to level up that class, you got to play as that class. Makes sense. Hovering over all these white icons will tell you how much of everything you got, what everything actually is. Some of the stuff I wouldn't worry about as a new player, like the watch. That gets into a whole nother thing. Pretty much an officer-only thing. Commander, I wouldn't suggest touching that either. For now, we're going to look at that later, but one main thing you should definitely do, go into your options, in gameplay, the first tab, in these nameplates, nameplate view distance. I would definitely recommend setting that all the way up to 500. I don't know what the default actually is, but that's going to help you out a lot to identify enemies. If you're new to the game, it's, we're shooting over some pretty long distances here. It's hard to tell who's who. If that's all the way up, you'll always, at least majority of the time, you'll know who you're shooting at because you'll see a little blue icon or green icon over them and know that's a friendly. Other than that, another thing I'd highly recommend you do is go into the basic training here, which this can give you an entire manual that'll actually explain everything I'm about to explain to you. Might not be as much stuff, that might not go in depth in this, but again, you got the whole manual here, you got tabs on top for whatever you're looking for, and then within those tabs, there's a whole nother thing. You can learn every weapon, every tool, everything you want in here. It'll give you a pretty good idea of what you're doing. The whole how to play section here, but I'd recommend going into the practice range. Here at least you can mess around with guns, vehicles, grenades. You can run around, do whatever the hell you want. Usually when you get into a game, this is the first screen you're going to see. After picking a side, of course, you're going to have infantry squads, armor squads, and recon. If you're new, highly recommend you stick to infantry first just so you can get an idea of what's happening. And again, I would not recommend going officer for your first time. Pick any one of these other classes. Best bet's probably to pick Rifleman. He has a very simple job. It's shoot the enemies. So you'll click on choose role, it would say. And then just going to spawn in the game and do whatever you want to do. We'll go over some spawn point things here for you actually now as well. So we'll go over the map a little bit later, what everything on the map actually is, but for now we're just going to look at the spawn points. So all the green flashing, pulsing things you see on the map, all of these are your spawn points, which you can also choose from the right menu here, which every time you click it, it'll highlight which one it is on the map. It's usually easier to just look at the map and figure it out from there, but if you're in a squad, the only way you can play is in a squad. This little triangle here with the two hash marks on top, that is your outpost spawn. That's something put down by your squad leader. Usually it's a lot faster. You'll spawn within 20 seconds on this, compared to a garrison, which is the circle with the little flag above it. Those take up to 40 seconds to spawn on, and then you also have your Halftracks over here, which are kind of rare, unfortunately. They're good spawns, but they can take up to a minute to spawn on. But they are mobile spawn points. You can't spawn on it when it's mobile, but you can move it around however often you want and almost anywhere you want. So for now, we'll go ahead and spawn in on the outpost. This is what your American outpost looks like, just a little radio. The Germans is also, all the factions are little radios. You can hear them. The further you get, the less you'll be able to hear them, but keep an ear out for, if you're Americans, anyone speaking German. And then you'll know, oh, hey, maybe there's, an enemy outpost nearby. Your garrisons generally look like this. They all have a very similar look of a table, usually some other random shit on it. Maybe the spotter scope, chest, whatever, some chairs. And this is your Halftrack, which if you're a new player, yes, you can drive these. Please do not. If they're placed somewhere other than the spawn, I would not recommend driving it because, as you can see on the map right now, it's green, which means you could spawn in it. The second you start that engine up, it's going to turn black, and now nobody can spawn on it until you turn that engine off. So again, if you're new, please do not jump in the Halftracks and start driving it around thinking it's fun because you might be fucking up a spawn point for an attack or a defense. When it comes to movement in this game, it's just like any other game. You can strafe left and right, you can run forward and backwards, you can jump, you can crouch, you can prone, and you can lean left and right. Leaning is obviously very useful in this. You can sprint infinitely in this game, so you can just press shift or whatever button it is, or hold it down, however you have it set up, and you could just pretty much run for miles. You can also actually dive only while you're sprinting, so if you're just regular jogging, we'll say, and you go to hit prone, you'll go down kind of slow. But if you're actually sprinting and you go to prone, you're going to do a little dive and a little slide. It's definitely helpful for getting under objects. Let's just use this as a quick example. Slide right underneath that, you can get up almost right away and keep moving. You can vault over things, so if you got this low wall here, all you got to do is run up to it and tap your jump button once, you'll vault right over it. You can get over higher walls, so anything above your waist like this, you'd actually have to hold space to go over. So if we just run at it and tap space like we do with the low wall, you're just going to hit it and bounce off of it. But if you run up to it and you hold space, you'll vault right over that. You do want to be careful when it comes to your diving, because if you're trying to dive for cover, just make sure you dive just a little bit before the cover so you actually get into it. So let's say we're getting shot from that gate right there, and you're going for this tree. If you dive at that tree, you're going right past it. They could still see you from that gate. So again, try to dive a little bit before it. You'll slide right into position. Now we got some cover from that. Shooting, you got your aim down the sights. You can also hold your breath, which will steady out your rifle and zoom in just a little bit. And you can see there we're pretty much perfectly steady. There's not really any alternate fire on any of the guns unless you want to include putting your biopod down for the machine gun. You can't really change between semi and automatic, so just take your time with the shots, whatever. Alright, so we went over some basics of the game, which is the same as most other first-person shooters, but there's some other stuff here that's pretty important. So if you go to your key bindings, you'll see marking. You're going to want to bind that. They just call it pinging in the game, but marking is very important. If you press that button, for example, we're going to get that little red mark right there, little red exclamation point or white exclamation point around the red triangle. That's what we call pinging. So you can ping stuff to bring your squad's attention to it. Now that's only going to be for your squad, so the entire team's not going to see it. So if you're next to a guy that's not in your squad, and you do that, he's not going to know what you're talking about. So the best bet is to use your compass, which you can see at the bottom. So again, whenever you ping something, it's usually best to say, let's say there's some Germans up in this house and you want to ping it. You're going to say, hey, I'm pinging Germans at 302. 302 at the bottom is perfect. That's all you got to say. And then at this point, if somebody's looking, let's say, to the north this way, they're going to say, oh, 302, and they can look down at their compass and go, 302's over here. Okay, that's around this area somewhere. Hopefully your ping will stay active for that amount of time. They'll go away pretty quickly because, you can just spam the shit out of it, which would probably get pretty annoying. Now you can also ping stuff on the tactical map, which you can bind that. Default is M. Right-click, hit ping. That'll ping other stuff. If you want to guess where something is, so for example, let's say you died, you respawn back in, you can go, oh, you know what, I was down by this house, so I want to ping that, and I think there were some guys around that house, and that'll bring up your ping. The only thing to note is that if you're trying to be super accurate with the ping, for example, you got Germans in these windows, you can actually pretty much ping the window right here. But now if you go into your map and you're going to try to ping the house, that ping's usually going to end up on the roof. Let's just say those pings are coming down from the sky, so if you want to be more accurate in first person, it's the best way to ping stuff. And now if you actually hold that ping button down as a squad member, you'll get all of these, which pretty much everything from your 12 o'clock to your 8 o'clock. These are all non-verbal communications. So for example, if you hit request explosive ammo, it's just going to show up in the top left by the text chat. Hit repeat, same thing. The only ones that are actually going to be marks is moving, observing, attacking, and defending. So these four right here, which you can put these up whenever you want. You don't necessarily have to use them. That's fine. If you're using voice communications, you probably don't really need those. But let's say you want to move to that house and you just want to do it real quick. Just say, hey, moving. Put up that mark. And now your entire squad's going to know, all right, Rhino's moving all the way over to here. Again, you got some Germans up in that house. You can mark it, say, hey, there's Germans on my ping, and then even put up an attack mark just to show that you are currently attacking that house. If you thought you saw something, let's say we're running over here, and you think, shit, I think I saw something by that house, throw up an observation mark. Say, hey, something was on my observe. I might have seen a couple guys running that house. Whatever. And speaking of verbal communications now, too, you have 3 options for that. Only 2 of what you're really going to be using here. So it's going to be V, C, and X. I think that is the default, where V is proximity chat, C is your squad chat, X is leadership radio. Again, if you're not a commander or a squad leader, you don't have to worry about X as regular infantrymen, which, again, if you're new, that's what you should be doing to start off. V and C are your main things. V, oh, it's not working in the basic training, alright, well, whatever. So V is going to be your proximity chat. Hold that and talk. People can hear you, so let's say this is one of our friendlies here, this little scarecrow. You walk up to him and you want to say, hey, there's Germans behind there. Hold down V. He'll be able to hear you. The further you get, just like real life, the less he's going to be able to hear you. If you got to shout, that's fine. That'll actually work. Or if you just want to whisper to him. The enemy cannot hear your proximity chat, so you don't really have to whisper. But I don't know, if you're trying to be sexy or something, go for it. Is that a nose or a cigar? I guess that's his nose. Looks like a cigar for a second. C is going to be your squad chat. C is basically a radio. You can talk to your squad from anywhere. Hold down C. Even if your other guy is all the way over at that house there, he'll be able to hear you because, again, it's like a radio picture. C is a walkie-talkie. V is your mouth. So you're mostly going to be talking in squad chat, C. Hopefully you're talking in squad chat. And, again, make sure whenever you see something you want to say, you want to mark something, just ping it. Find that to a nice, easy button. You're going to be doing that a lot. You're going to be doing that very often. The marks you're probably not going to be putting up as often. The squad leader is going to be putting those up more often than not. But a good little hint here now, too, is if, let's say, your whole map is cluttered right now, or your whole field of view is cluttered with marks from your squad. Let's see, can we do that? Can we clutter this up? No, we can't. All right, well, again, and let's say you're trying to shoot in that bush, and there's that defend marks right in your way. You can actually press T by default, and that will make that disappear. Press it again, it reappears. Press it again, it disappears. Press it again, it reappears. That works for a lot of different things on the map. Like, for example, there's a whole bunch of ammo boxes in a garrison here, so if you press T, bam, that all comes up. You can see that now. You can see some supplies there. Any white mark like this within 50 meters will appear, but if you're 50 meters away from it, you'll see, like, those supplies, those will start to disappear. Now we can't see them, but we can see everything else. We get within 50 meters of that, they reappear. Is that 40? It would be 50 meters, yeah. So again, T by default is that. Let's see what that is actually called in the key bindings here. I assume it's toggle HUD or something to that effect. Yep, toggle HUD. T, that's another important button you're going to want to bind there. That's going to help out a lot. So again, if your field of view here is cluttered up with shit and you don't want to see that because there's guys around, you're trying to see them, just press T. They will go, your HUD will disappear. A lot of times, let's say you capture a point, the HUD's going to reappear for you. And if you want to get away real quick, just press T. That'll also bring up in the bottom right here, you can see your current weapon and your ammo count. So I have 19 clips for this M1 Grand. Press T again, disappears. When you're actually in a server, you'll see a whole bunch of shit at the top too to tell you what point you're at, if you're capturing it, defending it, or whatever. Again, we'll go over that in an actual server. So while we're in the practice range, we'll go over some key elements of the map here. To be honest, as a squad mate, you're not really going to be using the map too much. I mean, unless your squad leader tells you to check the map. Otherwise, the squad leader's going to get a lot more information off this map than you would. He's going to be able to see a lot more marks from other squads and whatnot, and have a better situational or battlefield awareness than you will. Battle space awareness, or I guess battlefield awareness. We're in 1940s World War II here, so whatever. But his job is basically mostly to relay everything to you and try to get you into the battle and accurately engage with enemy forces. So to start off, we'll go with these big red things here, these big red lines. Those are roads. So you got Rue de Vins, Route de la Plaine, Rue de la Tang, whatever, blah, blah, blah. The names aren't really that important unless your squad leader's trying to tell you, hey, we're going to go from Rue de la Plaine all the way to Rue de la Tang, and then you're going to know, all right, we're coming up this way, going here. But again, he's probably going to have marks up, like he'll have a move mark up on the thing. You can also see those on your map. I don't remember if I mentioned that. Otherwise, you're going to see a lot of like red marks like these with little X's. That's going to be your barbed wire here. Now, the map's not always 100% accurate, so these open spaces that you can see aren't always going to be there. In fact, sometimes you won't even see barbed wire on the map, and it will be there. So if you're going towards some barbed wire and you see it on your map, just, you might have to close the map and just look around for an open space, because this might not actually be here. This might even show up fully enclosed or whatever. You're going to have these little blue lines which usually denote a path of some sort. So you can kind of see tire tracks denoting the path. A lot of times it's going to be way more obvious. You'll be in a grass field and just see a dirt path running around. This one's kind of hard to see, but those blue lines are paths going around. So if we follow this the entire time, you'll see we're kind of staying on that blue path there. Map might be off a little bit, goes off to the left. Some stuff you're not even going to see, like these hedgehogs and these dragon's teeth, they're not even on the map here. They will be on some maps. They might not be on other maps. It gets kind of confusing, I know. Other things like these big red squares are obviously buildings. So, for example, we're going to ping that one, and there it is. That's a building right there. This, I feel like I shouldn't have to explain, is water. That's water. Green's usually, let's say, some sort of wall, but they're not always accurate. Again, these maps might be old, so they're not 100% accurate. So, for example, here we see a green wall to our left. It's a pretty solid wall, pretty legit wall, I'd say. But then we also see there's a green wall to our right, and it's this shitty little broken down fence that we can, just fucking walk through. It's not really good cover. So, again, if you're running towards these green walls and you're thinking, oh, that's good cover, yeah, you might want to take a look before you run to it. Try to let your squad leader know, hey, I'm going to try to run over to this wall and take cover there, and he might know better. And then, you got low walls like this that these aren't even showing up on the map. You don't even see that there at all. Trees obviously denote trees. It doesn't necessarily mean a forest. I'll just go up there and show you. I mean, let's go ahead and throw an observe mark down here. That's where it's showing all these trees. We're going to get up there, and it might not even actually be a forest at all. There's just going to be a couple trees. It doesn't, it's going to be more woods than a field would have, at least. So there's going to be some cover in that area, some concealment in this area. But I mean, look at this. It's not actually a giant forest. So be careful when you're running towards those. Sometimes trees won't even be on the map. Sometimes you'll run into some woods, look on your map, and it won't even say there's woods there. This is all open field, so again, we'll put another observe down here in the middle of this, and yeah, there we go. Kind of pretty much an open field here. Let's see, looking at some other things, and then from time to time, you're going to see black hash marks like these two. That usually denotes a trench of some sort, or just pretty much any sort of fortification. You might see a line around with 3 hash marks under it. That just means there might be some cover there. It's probably not going to be the best cover, but there will be some cover. So these hash marks, generally, the closer they are denotes a trench, and the wider they are denotes kind of an open area, maybe a, not a concrete bunker, but a bunker. So, for example, we're in the wider area here, and you got some netting over it. I guess you can kind of consider it a bunker. It's just more of a fighting position, but again, map not being fully accurate. Right here looks like we should be in the middle of a trench, and not really a trench. Not too good of cover here. So, be wary of that when you're running around places. This one actually is more of a trench than this one is, unfortunately. I'm in the wrong spot to show you that, but whatever. Just, keep an eye on that. Sometimes you'll see like an actual bunker icon. That means there could be a bunker there. It could be destroyed. You never know. Most of the time, those bunker marks are accurate. But again, you might find some that actually aren't on the map. I mean, even these trenches sometimes could have a little tiny murder hole on the end of it. It might show an icon, it might not. Just know that usually these are some sort of fortifications that you should be able to get a little bit of cover in, maybe a little bit of concealment in. And also just to note, all these buildings, there's really no way to tell which one's open, which one's not. You just know that they're structures. Fortunately on this map, all of these buildings you can go into. There's a lot of interiors in the game, but you can't go into all of them. But they're all going to show up usually as red buildings like that. We'll try to see more of that in an actual game here. This map's very small compared to what an actual map would be. Now you're also going to see a lot of other little smaller actual icons on the map. These are dynamic icons that can be placed. Some of them actually, like this ammo depot, that's just going to be at your spawn all the time. They'll always be there. You can't really destroy it. It's pretty much exclusively used for rearming trucks and tanks and whatnot. Some trucks can carry supplies. These little squares with the tools in them, those are supplies. If you hover over anything in your map, usually it'll tell you what it is. Any icon that's placed. So like the outpost, garrison, supplies, ammo depot, it'll even tell you what these are. But these are supplies here. You got These are the little bullets or ammo boxes, so if you ever need some more ammo, you can go to that. And the little explosives, the little bomb icon is explosive ammo for grenades, rockets, mines, whatever, things like that. And again, that show HUD button, let's say that ammo box was a little more hidden and you couldn't find it, just press T, and there you go. That'll pop up just like that. You'll be able to find it a lot easier. So instead of running around in circles trying to look at your map and get right on top of it now, all you gotta do is press T, and it'll pop up. Or, again, whatever your show HUD button is. Now we also got these black icons. Those will usually be blue or green. Blue and green icons usually denote friendly. Green being your unit, while blue is just your team. So if one of these trucks is a different color than black, it means they're currently occupied. The one with the 3 dots in it, just imagine those are helmets. That's a transport truck. You can get about 12 guys in that. Generally, transport trucks don't have the cover on them. The one with the line down the middle, it's a supply truck. They generally do have the canvas cover on them. So, German trucks, British trucks, American trucks, if they have a cover, they're supply. If they have no cover, they're transport. Supply trucks are probably more important because they can carry a lot of supplies, and supplies are used to build garrisons and nodes and whatnot, and things that are going to help the enemy team win. So, if you have a target, if you see one of these trucks and there's no one in the back, and one of these trucks, I'd highly recommend shooting at this truck first, because that's probably more important. That's going to deny the enemy the ability to build garrisons or nodes or whatever. Well, all this is doing is transporting troops to the front. You got this little weird icon with a notch in it. That's a Jeep. These little guys, they're fun as hell to drive, but you're rarely going to see them. Not really used for squad operations, because you can only put 2 people in it, even though it's clearly got room for 4. Maybe you and your girl back here with your arms around each other, whatever. Your half-track, you saw that. You kind of saw that when it was black already, that's fine. And then you got your ovals here, 1, 2, and 3 dot ovals. Those are your tanks, 1 being the armor and the gun, or the dots would be the armor and the gun. So 1 dot is light tank, small gun, light armor, blow up pretty easy, but they're pretty quick and they could still do a lot of fucking damage. 2 is your medium, a little harder to destroy, but they're definitely got a bigger gun. They could do even more damage. And 3 dots being your heavy tank, which, again, bigger gun, more armor, most damage. So heavy tanks are good. If you see a lot of heavy tanks on the battlefield, that's great. But if you're not going to see these icons for the enemy team. These are only for your friendly team. We'll go over some squad leader marks later on here as well. So if you do see, for example, let's say an enemy tank there, again, just mark it and say, hey, in your squad chat, hey, squad lead, I got an enemy tank on my ping. And if he's behind you, say, hey, squad lead, I got an enemy tank on my ping at 253. Again, that's looking at the bottom at your compass. 253 is the direction from you that enemy tank's in. So, if your squad leader's all the way down here, while you're all the way up here, and you say 253, 253 for him is going to be this way. It's going to be nowhere near that tank. So just say, 253 from me. Or if he's down here, you can say, hey, that tank's to the north of you. That might help him out, but just make sure you let him know what you're pinging, because if you're just constantly putting pings around the map, no one's gonna know what the fuck it is. You gotta say something, or at least type it out and just say, hey, on my ping, got a tank. Hey, on my ping, I got some infantry. That's gonna be your best bet. Just, battlefield situational awareness at this point is what everyone's looking for. The more situationally, I can't say that word. The more situationally aware your team and your squad is, the better off you're going to do in battle. If you got a bunch of guys just running around, nobody's saying anything, nobody's marking anything, no one's going to know what the hell's going on, you're probably going to die. But if you got a squad that's constantly marking things and saying, hey, I got enemy troops over here, enemy tank over here, that whole squad's going to know what's going on, and that squad leader's usually relaying the information to the rest of the team using his command chat. Now, one quick thing I forgot to mention with this map too is down on the bottom right, you'll have a key. You can press enter to expand that key, and you're going to get a fuckload more information, pretty much everything I just said. It'll tell you what every single fucking icon is on the map, so you can just look at this, and it's actually kind of new. It actually has more information under each of these, which is interesting. Yeah, look at this if you need to. If you ever need a fucking reminder in the middle of the battle, there you go, right there. But again, you can also just hover over everything, and it's going to tell you what everything is. But just at a quick glance, this little key is going to be very fucking helpful to you. Press enter again to get rid of it. There you go. Alright, being that you're probably new to the game, you're going to have all these classes, but you're not going to have all these loadouts unlocked, so we're just going to go over the first loadout for every class here nice and quick. So we'll start off with the Rifleman. You got your M1 Grand, your ammo box, all that fun shit. Let's deploy up here. As a Rifleman, your main goal is just going to be to shoot shit. Again, right click, hold that down, it'll aim. You can hold down shift and you can steady your aim and just fucking shoot things. Just kill the enemy. You also have the ability to place ammo boxes, so just scroll to it or press 5, however you get to your fucking weapons. Look at the ground or wherever. As soon as that icon turns green as opposed to gray, gray, green, gray, green, gray, green, you can press Q and E to rotate it, and then you can place it. And now anyone can go up there and just hold F, as it'll show you on the bottom, to resupply your ammo. And now you got all your clips back for your M1 Grand. Again, Rifleman, just fucking close with and destroy the enemy. Just shoot him up, whatever. You can also hit the redeploy button here. It's a good little help. That's just going to redeploy you. It's going to basically suicide you, and you'll get an extra 10 seconds added on to your redeploy time, but sometimes it's worth it to just redeploy. Next class is going to be Assault. You're going to start off with your Thompson, a few grenades, a few smoke grenades. Assault's role is to assault shit, so usually you're going to have an automatic weapon. Later on you can get a shotgun, which is pretty fun because you can fucking literally blow people apart. But yeah, main goal here is going to be throwing grenades and providing support, fire support for your guys. So Thompson's a pretty fun gun. I really enjoy this thing, but again, it's only a 45 caliber, so those rounds aren't going to be going as far as your M1 Grand, your 30-06, but if you try hard enough, you could probably still get a headshot on that guy. Oh, there we go. Now, grenades, you have two ways to throw it, left click and right click. When you're actually clicking things, or when you're actually clicking it, you just want to hold it. Just hold it down once, and you're going to pull the pin, and you're going to ready it to throw. You don't have to click once to pull the pin and then once to throw it, just once. That's all you got to do. They're a little bit weird to aim, so for example, if you're trying to aim in that window from right here, and you have the fucking screen centered, pull that pin and throw it, yeah, that went all the way up on that fucking roof. Actually stayed on the roof too. Maybe it'll fall in? Nope, that's staying up on the roof. You're going to want to, you'll get used to how you throw grenades. There's a secondary option where you can kind of toss it, so if you're, really close to a guy here and he's just on the other side of this wall, hold down right click and you can just fucking right over the wall there. And probably good to lay down after you do that, because that'll fuck you up if you're too close to it. Smoke grenades, very important. Let's say you're trying to... well, actually, let's go over this first. So, if you're getting shot at from that house, you don't want to just fucking drop that grenade, right in fucking front of you. We'll right-click, throw this thing right here. Because, yeah, that's probably going to block their line of sight to you, block their vision a little bit. But at the same time, it's giving away your position. Now, the entire enemy fucking team, if they're looking, knows, oh shit, there's some guys behind these fucking hay bales. And it's really not helping you out, because if you run a little to the right, they could still see you before you get to the fucking cover here. What you want to do with the smokes is throw them at the enemy's fucking position. So just toss that motherfucker out there, get it over there. Not only are you blinding them a little bit, you're also kind of showing your guys where they are. So now your guys are going to know, shit, that smoke is where they're at. And, now they're blind for a much larger range. I mean, look at this, I can run all the way the fuck out here, and they're not going to see me. Much better than that little 5 feet I could run from there. Just keep that in mind with the smoke grenades. Don't just drop them on your position. Throw them towards the enemy. It's going to block their view a lot more if it's closer to them. That should be some basic, I'm going to go ahead and say physics. I know that's not really the right word for it, but fuck it. Who cares? Alright. Let's go find our next role here, which is going to be Automatic Rifleman. What you do is in the name. You have an automatic rifle. You got the beautiful fucking BAR here. Unfortunately, there's no bipod on it, but the BAR is a fucking beast too. You can kind of snipe with this fucking thing if you really want to. It is pretty goddamn good, so let's pop some heads right here. You only get 20 rounds in this, so we're going to show you real quick. Those go real fast. That's it. That's all you got. Now you got to fucking reload. It's not the best for suppression. If you are going to use it to suppress, I'd suggest, 2 to 3 round bursts, just real quick. That'll still suppress them enough, and it's going by a lot slower than if you're just wasting that entire fucking mag off. But, yeah, this thing uses the same rounds as an M1 Grand, so you can probably snipe out those dudes all the way down there.
Let's throw a fresh fucking mag in this thing, see if I can pop that guy's head off way the fuck out there. Let's see. There you go. No head. Beautiful. Dead. Alright, our next one we're going to be throwing up here is medic. Medic can't really show you in this because there's nobody to heal, but your first loadout, you're going to get an M1 carbine, but look, you only got 2 fucking magazines for it. That's 30 rounds, that's it. Your goal as a medic isn't to go around fucking killing people. You're not closing with and destroying the enemy, all that fun shit. You're healing your dudes. You're fixing people up. You're going to have 20 bandages, 20 morphine syrettes. Your syrettes are what you use to revive people. When you play as medic, you'll see little cross icons all over the place. That means you can go revive those guys. You'll also see little heal, little bandage icons. That means you can go give them a bandage. If you're a medic, I'd highly recommend you try to use your bandages before your squad uses theirs. You want your squad to have as many bandages as they can, because if they're using theirs while you're around them, they're fucking wasting them, because now if they're away from you, they're out of fucking bandages. Use yours on them first. Let them fucking save theirs. The roll off that is support. First one, standard issue, you are going to get a supply crate here, which is nice. Your support guy, very important. You're going to start off with the M1 Grand, a couple grenades, you got a little hammer, you can help build some shit, and you know, you can't melee with the hammer, unfortunately. But you can help people build stuff. The more people you have building something, the faster it's going to get built. Biggest thing is this here supply crate. This is a very important thing. Don't just fucking spawn in and put it down thinking, oh, I'm going to get points from this. No. I mean, you will get a couple points, I'm not going to lie, but you'll get a lot more fucking points if you use it correctly. I'll try to make a whole tutorial about supplies and shit and garrisons and whatnot later on, but these can be used to build garrisons, AT guns, resource nodes, fortifications, all sorts of shit to help your team. But again, any of that shit needs to be within 50 meters of these supplies, so don't just fucking throw it down. Ask whoever you're with. Ask your squad leader, hey, do you want supplies anywhere? Ask your engineers, hey, do you want supplies anywhere? Ask your AT guys, hey, do you want supplies anywhere? Makes fucking sense, right? And now to put it down, same thing as the ammo box. When it's green, you can place it. That's it. Hold down left click, it's down. That's your little supply crate there. Now again, you have to be within 50 meters to build shit. To know if you're within 50 meters, press T. As soon as it disappears, right about here, I assume? Oh shit, that thing's staying up for a while. There we go, alright. Oh, that's over 50 meters, so if we mark that, 51 meters, we're going to press T, we get close. There you go. 50 meters. 50 meters is your mark. So anywhere from here to that ammo box, that supply crate, people can build shit. Keep that in mind too when you fucking place them, so if somebody says they need them, you know, try to be within 50 meters of where they're trying to build something before you throw it down. It's probably best to just get right up next to them and throw the thing down. Next class we're going over is our machine gunner. Now, starting off, you just get a nice 30 caliber fucking Browning machine gun. I know a lot of people like to just fucking jump in with this thing and just start fucking laying down the hate, which is good, but you're probably not going to last that long. Some quick basic functions of this: you can't shoot it just holding it like this. You have to hold right click, you'll hold the handle, and then you can shoot it. It does have some fucking recoil because it is a fucking machine gun. You can run up to a wall, or you can lay down and press F, or your interaction use key. You'll see it says it on the bottom, deploy weapon. So again, a lot of people like to just get up here and just start fucking blasting, but you can see your tracers. That's a good way to figure out where you're shooting or where the dirt's coming up. You don't just want to hold down the fucking trigger. That's dumb. The enemy can track your fucking tracers. The longer you're holding down that button, the longer your tracers are in the air. You're basically drawing a line straight back to where you are, and you're just going to get your fucking head blown off. Short controlled bursts is the way to go. Also, don't fucking sit here and try to be a fucking machine gun sniper and, you know, just fucking try to one-hit everything, because that's just fucking dumb, too. It's a goddamn machine gun. Light some motherfuckers up. Throw some fucking lead down range. That's your fucking job. Best way to use it, like I was saying before, controlled bursts. The less ammo you use in the amount of time it takes to use that belt, the longer your suppression is going to last on the enemy. So, for example, if we just went full auto on this house, we might have a good 30 seconds of suppression, but you can make that last a lot longer by using controlled bursts. So let's go with 3 to 6 rounds, 3-second intervals. So 3 to 6 rounds, 3 to 6 rounds, 3 to 6 rounds. And obviously this suppression is going to hold up a lot fucking longer than it would if you're just wasting that fucking belt off. Your main goal here too is suppression and support. It's not primarily to just start blasting enemies and set up wherever the fuck you want. And again, these tracers are going to lead back to you, so every once in a while, just fucking move. Just find a new spot. Displace a little bit. You don't have to go too far. If you really want to, you can go super far. The suppression actually lasts a while if it's close enough to them, and it's going to help your squad move around. So if your squad's trying to move on something through an open fucking field and you know there's Germans in this house, let's say, this is going to be your best bet. Suppress these fucking windows, these doors, all these fucking openings. All these rounds going in there is going to suppress the fuck out of the Germans in there, and they're not going to be able to get shots off at your guys as they're trying to cross. You can reload this thing while you're running. You don't have to be deployed for it. You can actually sprint and reload it too, which is pretty nice. Next class is going to be anti-tank. Start off with an M1 Grand and a bazooka. You obviously got some fucking grenades too. The bazooka is fun, I know. Just know that this thing does not have the greatest range. In fact, the drop-off is quite a bit. So, for example, we're trying to shoot at that roof there. Right? We're aiming at it. Looks fucking great. We're even going to steady our aim. Take a rocket off. Nope. Not even fucking close. Fucking 100 fucking meters off the fucking target. You're going to have to aim up quite a bit with these if you're shooting at a range. You can use it for anti-infantry. It doesn't have that big of a splash damage, but we'll see if we want to hit that roof maybe up here. Maybe. Close enough. Good enough. We hit the fucking building at least. That's good. Now again, if you're out of rockets, you only get 2. Look for these. Look for these bomb icons. You'll see them. Hold down F on it and resupply your rockets. Now the main use for these rockets is anti-tank. That is the name of the class. Makes fucking sense, right? Cool. Can't adjust the sights, unfortunately. That'd make life a lot fucking easier. But when you're shooting at tanks, you always want to go for the ass. If you see a tank that's bigger than a little tank like this, just assume it's a heavy. Assume every tank's a fucking heavy, and it's going to make your life a lot fucking easier. You can penetrate mediums from the front, but they also have a whole machine gun that's just going to be lighting you up. You know, you don't want to get in the way of this little fucking MG34 here. It's going to fuck your life up. So go for the ass. Always try to get up behind it and go for the ass. You can actually hit it if you're if you hit the engine block from the side, so right back here in the engine, that's a good spot to hit it too. Might not do as much damage, but you could fuck their engine up, but you just want to get right behind them and take a shot. We'll show you what a good hit looks like. Not too much splash damage for the shooter here, but you heard that sound, you see those sparks coming out, you see the fucking thing start smoking at some point probably, you fucking penetrated. That's a good hit. That means they're fucking hurting now. Now again, if you're going from the front, it's going to look totally fucking different. You're going to see that rocket's just going to burst into fucking shards on the front. Absolutely nothing. No sparks, no nothing. That rocket just fucking disappeared, and all you did was piss these fucking guys off, and they're going to be looking for you now because they don't want you getting up on their ass. And drew attention to yourself, wasted a fucking rocket. You only have one. You're not going to do a fucking thing. If the only thing you can do is hit a tank from the front, you can always go for the tracks. The tracks, you can drop those, and you could slow it the fuck down. And now if his tracks are badly fucking damaged, he's going slow as shit. You can pretty much climb on fucking top of him, wait for your guy to get close to him, reload your shit, jump off the back, put a rocket in his ass, blow him up, run away, happy fucking days, go get your goddamn coffee, whatever. Or maybe beer rations, who knows. After that we got our engineer. This is a very interesting class. There's a lot of shit with this class too. You're going to start off with your carbine. You also have blowtorch, which you can use to repair vehicles. You got AP mines, anti-personnel, AT mines, anti-tank. Blowtorch is simple. Walk up to a vehicle that's wounded. You'll know when it's wounded. You'll see it, and just hold down left click. You'll see in the bottom there it says repairing. The 3 icons under it is pretty much the hull, the engine, and the wheels. You don't really have to worry about that. Just look at the percentage. Fucking keep hitting it until that percentage is at 100. AP mines, these actually work great. You could throw them in fucking doorways. Everybody loves walking into a house and getting fucking blown up immediately. Little open ways like this. It is good to hide these, but I mean, they're pretty fucking small that a lot of times guys, aren't actually looking at the ground. They might not even see that. I mean, even if their gun's covered and they're running up to here, might not even see it. They'll walk right over it. Good to place them around little fucking corners. Corners are always fun to place them on. Doorways again. If you want, fuck it, man. Just throw it in some fucking tall grass like this. Hide the fucking thing right here. Yeah, that's pretty goddamn hard to see. People might not even notice that. Your AT mines, the American ones stick out quite a bit, so you're not going to really want to place it in the middle of a fucking road. If you could find a big patch of dirt, maybe it'll help a little bit, but your best bet again for that, grass. Just find something to hide it behind, hide it around a corner or whatever. Again, that's really hard to see. The driver hopefully isn't looking for it. Maybe the tank commander's not looking for it. Maybe they won't see it. Maybe they'll get just close enough here to fucking run it over and blow up. Now, you also got your hammer to help build shit. And as an engineer, you're going to be the one that's initiating the build. So you got your little wrench. It's 3. All you got to do is hold down right click. That'll give you a whole bunch of options here. You'll see barbed wire, 0 out of 4 on top. Use your scroll wheel to go down. That 0 out of 4 means you can only place 4. So you, as one player, can place 4. Another player can place 4. Another player can place 4. You could build, let's say you got 50 fucking people in the game, you could build 200 barbed wires anywhere. And these will do great. They're great for area denial. You know, the only way to blow them up is with the satchel. Vehicles can roll right through them, unfortunately, but they won't break them. They can just go through them. Hedgehogs are great for area denial for tanks because they're not going to be able to get over those. So in cities, you just throw one of these up in the middle of the fucking road and you just block that whole fucking road off for that tank. Barricades are simple enough. It's pretty much just something for cover, bunkers, whatever, repair station. When it comes to some of these things like bunkers and barricades, you can actually upgrade them multiple times. So if you place this down, it's just going to be these logs. If you have more supplies and build it, again, it's going to upgrade it to have some sandbags, and the third upgrade, it's going to basically be a bunker itself. This thing, it's just the 3 walls right now, but you can build it up to a full-on concrete fucking bunker. Repair stations are good for vehicles. If you're on the front line and you see some supplies lying around, like right here, for example, you can put up a repair station. I believe they only cost 50. You can place down anything you want when it's green with this wrench, and it's not actually going to use those supplies until you build it. And then you can see on the bottom it says left mouse, build repair station. That 50, that's how many supplies. So if we started holding the left mouse button now, those supplies are going to disappear. So we don't really want to do that because I just want to show you the main reason, well, not the main, but a good thing with engineers is these resource nodes. We'll go over these real fucking quick. You have fuel, manpower, and munitions. You as a player can build 1 of each. The entire team can only place 3. So you can only have 3 fuel, 3 manpower, 3 munitions. And each one of these is going to give you an extra plus 10 a minute. We'll look at that here real quick as well. So top of your map here, you see it says 500. That's munitions, that's manpower, that's fuel. They're all for commander abilities. Munitions is things like airstrikes, bombing runs, strafing runs, whatever. Manpower is for things like encourage, anything on the point like reinforce. It'll help, hold that point. Fuel is for vehicles, so if you need more tanks, build some more fucking fuel nodes. Again, you can only build up to 3, and you can only get up to plus 60 a minute. So right now we're at plus 30 on all these. We're going to build up this fuel node here, which takes a minute. Again, the more guys you have with hammers out building this thing, the quicker it's going to be. So we could build this in 3 seconds if we had 5 fucking guys here, but it's going to take a while because it's just us by ourselves. Also, a good thing to note is don't build these in the middle of the open like I'm doing right now. You want to try to hide these because the enemy can take them down. I'll show you real quick on the bottom. You'll see that gray circle around it. If we hold F, that white bar filling up, that's how long it takes to dismantle one of these. It's a long time. It's like a full fucking minute to dismantle this thing. Otherwise, press T again. You'll see it says plus 10 a minute. You can also look at your map, hover over it, plus 10 a minute next to that. Get rid of that thing real quick. And now you look up here, plus 40 a minute. So you build 3 of these, well, you build 1, and the rest of your team builds the other 2. You can get up to plus 60. You're doubling the amount of resources you get in a minute. Very important. Very helpful. Alright, so when you get into an actual game, this is more of what your map's actually going to look like at the start of a game. We're just going to do this in Photoshop here. It's going to be a lot easier so I can actually make marks and show you what I mean by things. But you're going to have these A to J, and you're going to have 1 to 10 going down here. So you're going to have 100 grid squares in total. Each one of these little ones is 1 grid square. That's 200 meters across. So from here across to here is 200 meters. That's going to help you out a lot when it comes to placing garrisons and whatnot, or trying to figure out where enemies are. But regardless of that, these 40 up here, so all of this unplayable area because it's grayed out, all of this unplayable area because it's grayed out. This giant square right here that I'm showing you now is the only playable area.
Now to break this down even further, you'll see you have La Prairie, Rue de Gamblesville, St. Mary-Église, Artillery Battery, Crossroads. So right here, this is our friendly territory because it's blue, and this is our enemy territory because it's red. What's in the middle here that's no color is neutral. That's going to be at the start of every game. There's going to be one neutral territory. Now when I say territory, this is pretty much the breakdown of territories, is these big fucking rectangles. So this is a territory. Let's just do this. This whole thing's a territory. 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 To actually capture those territories, you need to get into the sectors. Now the sectors, we can break down these territories even further, like this. Let's just go all the way across here. Fuck it, why not? And now we're going to turn this into 15 bigger grid squares of 4 smaller grid squares. This is a sector. 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 I'm sure you get the point by now. But now to capture the entire territory, which again is these big fucking rectangles, you need to take those sectors. You take one sector, you get the whole thing. Now you can only actually attack one sector to take the territory, which is marked. So Crossroads is 1, Artillery Battery is 1, St. Mary-Église is 1, Rue de Gamblesville is 1, and La Prairie is 1. These strong points that I just circled are the sectors you have to capture to take the entire territory. So once a team takes St. Mary-Église in here, this sector, so this big X here, these 4 squares, is all you have to be in to capture St. Mary-Église. You will take this entire territory. Now when I say all you have to be in is these 4 little fucking grid squares, I don't mean you just have to be in there. You have to have more guys in there than the enemy does. And what's going to help a lot is this fucking black circle with the stripes, the lines through it, as I was. Sorry, I've been drinking a bit. That's called a strong point. That strong point, which Artillery Battery is a strong point, Crossroads is a strong point. It doesn't look like it right now because we're only fighting over the neutral zone. These lock icons here mean that you can't capture this. So anything with a lock, you cannot capture. Once a team captures this, if the Germans capture this, this lock will disappear and you'll get the same strong point circle as this. Or if the Americans capture this, this lock will disappear and you'll get the same strong point as St. Mary-Église. That St. Mary-Église strong point will stay there because that's the American defend point, and this will be the Germans defend point. Or this could be the Americans attack point, that'll be the Germans attack point, however the fuck you want to say it. Regardless of that, that strong point is going to help a lot. It is very important to take that strong point because that's going to triple the amount of players you have in this sector. What I mean by that is if you only have 3 guys in there, the game's going to count it as 9 in this entire sector. So if the Germans only have 8 in this entire sector, and you have 3 guys in the strong point, you technically have more guys in this sector than the Germans do. You're going to start to capture it. So the more guys you have in that strong point, the better off it's going to be. So let's say it's a perfect even 50 versus 50. Everyone's infantry. If you have 50 guys in here, it's impossible for the Germans to hold this point even if they have their 50 guys in here, because now you technically have 150 guys in this one sector. That's what the game is going to calculate everything as. That's where the strong point gets very important, so it is good to take that, but at the same time, you just want to be in these 4 little grid squares down here. These 4 squares. That's what you want to be in. So thinking about it tactically, attacking from the north, coming down from here is probably not the best idea because for the most part, you're going to be stuck outside of the sector. Attacking from the south is pretty good because you are going to be in the sector, not in the strong point, but you'll still be in the sector putting pressure on the enemy. Even attacking from fucking here. Now the good thing about the blue territories is it costs less to put a garrison down, and that garrison's not going to get locked out as easily. So if you have a garrison right here on this red dot, it's not going to get locked out unless an enemy is directly on top of it. So you can constantly get reinforcements in, and again, like I said, from this line to this line is 200 meters. So looking at this, we're only about, let's go with like 150 meters to the point, even less than that. So that's all those guys have to run to get into that strong point, if they can get into that strong point. It gets very confusing. I know. It's weird as hell. But there is a lot of tactical things to think about if you're a squad leader or a commander. Some points you get lucky like this, where it's right in the middle, artillery battery here. That's actually pretty good to defend, pretty easy to defend. Any points like La Prairie here, this is a shitty point, because once the Allies take this whole fucking territory, by taking this whole sector, they can put a garrison right fucking here, and they're literally within 25 meters of La Prairie. So again, this will turn blue, and it's easier to put a garrison up right here, and they're right fucking there. They're that much closer to getting their entire team onto the point. Now, I guess this is not really a good point to show this, but let's go ahead and for instructional purposes say that the strong point of La Prairie was back here instead of over here. Now the Americans have to run more than 200 meters, because again, here to here is 200 meters. So they're going to have to run almost 300 meters to get to the strong point, as compared to here where it's only 50. The Germans can put up garrisons every 200 meters. They could have a garrison back here. They have a headquarters spawn there, a garrison here, and a garrison here. Maybe even a garrison, let's say, up here. And now you're going to have to get through all their enemy forces to get there. So, again, some tactical thinking comes into play, but that's basically how the game works. I'll go over it real quick one more time. You have your territories are between the red lines. Let's do that real quick. So this is a territory, this is a territory, this is a territory, this is a territory, this is a territory. We get rid of those. And now you have a sector. This is a sector, this is a sector. Technically this is a sector, but there's no strong point in it. Sector, sector with no strong point, sector, sector, sector with the strong point. Again, these 15 grid squares are considered sectors. These are the strong points. The strong point is what you want to do. You want to take this sector with the strong point in it to take the entire territory. I hope that makes sense. I hope it's not too fucking confusing, but there you go.